Okay, so one of the things we can do once we've taught the basic skills, we've taught the wound packing, we've taught some tourniquet application. One of the things we haven't mentioned is we would want the tourniquet application to be applied several times in the dry land without any sims. They're just going to apply the tourniquet a bunch of times on arms, on legs. Some people even like to time them. So you time it. They should really be under 30 seconds. They should be able to get that tourniquet out of their pocket, wherever they keep it, and apply that tourniquet. So then what we can start doing is we can start adding layers onto that training, like we always talk about. And one of these layers is if we had a law enforcement course that we're teaching, we could have the law enforcement officer with his sim gun on, with his blue or red gun on, in their gear, and the scenario would be they come across a downed civilian or a downed officer, and I'd have my firearm out. I'd see him down. He's still awake. I can identify that he's probably still a viable candidate for rescue. So I'm going to have my gun out, and we talk about all this beforehand. We talk about CASEVAC, so casualty evacuation, how to get them into certain areas, because we don't want to stay here in a possible hot zone. We want to get them into the warm zone. Ideally, we want to get to the cold zone, but right off the bat, we want to get them into the warm zone and start applying that tourniquet or doing the wound packing. So the scenario would be something like this. We'd have our gun out. I'd punch out. Todd, give me your hand. So he's still awake enough. So he's going to hold on to my hand. I'm going to have my gun out. And if he's still awake enough, he's actually going to use his leg to assist, his non-injured leg to assist. Pull. I take one more quick peek, run away. If I'm with a partner, I could call for cover, and then the partner would step up, covering, while I'd come in. I'd come in right away, do that knee on the injury, access my tourniquet. Now, like we said, there's a couple different ways to do this. You can undo it, hook it underneath, and secure it that way. We saw from that video of that officer doing it to that suspect. It got a little dicey because he lost kind of positive control of it. It's blood slippery. So I might be able to just get it over his leg and move it up. So again, if the injury is here, we want to go a few inches above. Now it's going to be still high and tight. So we're going to go nice and high. I find where the strap is. Remember, pull it towards yourself. So we pull it. I do want to have the windlass available, so we pull it towards ourselves as tight as I can get it. Wrap it back around. A few turns. Strap it on. We're good. I can see that it stopped the flow. Right away, my gun would be back out and wait for backup, or we'd move them to that cold zone. Anything to add, Todd?
No, I think that's good. So the key points still apply as always is start with that direct pressure like Scott did when he dropped his knee, then apply that tourniquet.
And I think you could even add a layer. Maybe you could say, hey, that first tourniquet was ineffective. Put the second tourniquet on. So one thing you saw me do, I accessed my personal tourniquet. Ideally, if this was a downed officer, I would access his tourniquet first. His tourniquet's for him, my tourniquet's for me. But if his tourniquet wasn't good enough, I would probably access my tourniquet and apply. Ideally, I'd have a second tourniquet on me, so I'd always have two, or he'd always have two. But civilian, life over limb, we believe the threat's down. I'm gonna apply my tourniquet to him.
Again, layer your training to the audience that you're teaching, right? Like this one, when we're working with law enforcement, you can really layer this, like Scott was saying. You know, do the basics, start with this, then add some more layering on top.
I mean, we can get right into sims. We could get right into simulation guns. We could get into shooting RBTs, and people are shooting back, and we're shooting at them with basically paintball rounds. Drag them into a position, and have cover, and do the full 9 yards. So it's really that layering. This is just options that you can do for this course. So this course starts off. You can be as basic as you need to, or as advanced as you have to. We can do, like you said, we can do elementary school kids all the way to higher level law enforcement. And then once you get to that really high level, they're going to start doing TCCC, going to the gun range, that sort of stuff.
And again, this is a great course with the basic functions of the Stop the Bleed for your first responders. Work with your other fire departments, your fire department, if you're on a small volunteer department. Include your EMS, your paramedics, right? Involve them in all this training. And it's a great skill to reinforce the skills that a lot of these officers may already have from their TCCC training. Again, this isn't that course, but it's a lot of the same skills, and it's good practice. It's like fire practice. We need to continue to train to keep our skills up, and we're just assisting them in that training.